ready for the show. 10 years and we're going for 10 more. Everybody gather round for the Player One podcast, episode 500.
521.
I'm recording.
You want to go ahead and host? Go ahead.
Okay.
God, no, CJ, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, buckle in.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Only do it if you're going to do it to Sam Raimi.
No, I really feel like I can't believe the balls on Ethan. I mean, he's bolded everything he's been playing because it's the most important, obviously.
That's how it works.
That's not how that works.
I don't think I even updated that this week, have I?
No.
Do you ever?
Do you want to?
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah. Are you playing something new?
Let me think. I don't think I have been, actually. I didn't get any new video games.
Yeah, I fixed Ethan's.
I ordered some new video games, though.
That's better.
I picked up Dead Rising 3 for $10 on Xbox.
You?
$10.
Wow, dude.
What a deal.
That is a deal. You're never going to play it.
I might play it.
Nah.
Might.
What?
Might.
I bought Dying Light in January of this year, and never played it. So,
well,
yeah.
He's not you. Is he?
I'm not you. Exactly.
True. How did my font become really tiny?
I gave it the proper weight.
Oh.
Against the rest of the document.
All right.
Ethan's been playing the newest thing out of all of us, though. So, I mean,
Yeah.
Whatever. We're just going to have to sit through 40 minutes of VR and sunsetting.
No.
Yeah.
VR games don't get sunset, so of course not.
Not
Really?
yet, they don't.
You wait.
I love how
Wait.
you're speaking in absolutes about things that you know are going to happen eventually.
All right. Should we do a clap? I think we should do a clap. Let's do a clap. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to episode 521 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, November 1st, 2016. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, a man who will be playing video games for charity in just a few short days.
Weeks.
Weeks? Okay. Mr. Greg Seward.
Hello. November 19th is when I'm going to be doing that, but the Extra Life event is this coming weekend.
Okay.
For everyone else.
Right. Well, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
All right. And joining us on this inaugural second 10-year episode from the great state of California, Mr. Filthy Ewald. Hello.
Decade 2, we're bringing the thunder.
Ooh. This time it's personal.
That's right. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Fine. Fine.
Fine. How are you?
I'm getting surgery in a couple days.
That's what I hear.
So
they're gonna
you're
cut
still
some
going
stuff
on with
out.
that old chestnut?
I am. Yep. That old gallstone. Yes, indeed.
Is about the size of a chestnut?
Probably.
Have you explained to Finn that your daddy's going in for surgery? Have you used like a game of operation or anything like that and played?
Use the game of Risk.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
And does he know that it's a 50-50 chance? I mean,
Of awesomeness.
Wow.
So yeah, he knows.
Okay. And joining us also from the great state of California is a man who is always in VR, Mr. Ethan Einhorn.
hey there. Yeah, but I was pulled out of VR this weekend for another kid's birthday party. When you become a parent, you will be going to like 30 of those a year, which is kind of rough. Especially,
I make sure
go
my
ahead.
kids are ostracized very early, so I don't go to one of the
That's
birthday
right.
parties every year.
Yep.
That's the way to do it. Well, I just feel badly about it only because this Saturday they had a rescreening in theaters of the first Pokemon movie, and I would have loved to have taken the kids to that, but couldn't work around the birthday party.
The what movie?
The Pokemon movie.
Say that word again.
Pokemon?
Oh,
Really? How long has Ethan been saying it like that on the show? And now you're going to make a big deal out of it?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am.
Pokemon Keto Daze! Yeah.
What? Pokemon? What do you want?
Pokemon. Yeah.
Pokemon.
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 That's what I just said.
Pokemon.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
one of those
gotta catch 'em
Japan.
I love the show getting derailed like this. This is great.
Yeah,
This is
I'm not gonna try to enunciate the name of the fellow that wears a white G in Street Fighter. Then,
White jeans.
Which one is that?
What the hell are you talking about?
White G, the guy that's not Ken.
Oh.
I'm not saying his name.
What?
Yes, his outfit.
You're gonna have to.
Oh man!
Oh, Phil, I hate you so much.
What?
This is your fault. You could just
This
let
is
it
not
go.
my fault.
He's been saying it like that for like what? How long has he been on the show now? Like 100 years, it feels like.
It just feels like it's been like 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's up with this white G thing? That's what I want.
He's talking about Ryu.
Oh, okay. Did I ever tell you I knew a kid back in the Street Fighter
Very
2
nice.
days who called Guile Goulet?
Oh,
like Robert?
like Robert, yeah.
I've
Like
heard
Robert Goulet.
I've heard
Gwilly.
I've heard Gwilly. over and over
Willie.
again.
Yeah.
Gwilly.
Gwilly.
Goulet.
Gwilly
Yeah.
Goulet, though? I have not heard.
Goulet. Like, I don't think that's what it is. I mean, Guile is actually a word.
Meet me on the tarmac. We're gonna
Robert
have
Goulet.
ourselves a fight.
Robert Goulet, was he Benson, or am I thinking of a different
I
actor?
think of Robert Guillaume.
Robert.
I'm just remembering him being like chased by a dog when he was
I
picking
don't
up
even know
the
if his first name
newspaper.
was Robert, to be honest.
It is Robert Guillaume. Yeah, you're right. Benson was a great show.
Although Robert Goulet would have been really interesting.
Do you think there is Robert Guillaume and Robert Goulet /fic? And if not, can there be?
See, now you just made it weird.
You know,
Hold on,
Yeah,
saved
it's the internet. Of
off.
course, there's.
We're all having fun, and now you made it weird.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Just a lot of Benson's soap crossover fic. That's all I'm finding. Yeah.
Billy Crystal.
Yeah.
Robert Goulet.
Oh, there's a Bosom Buddy fanfic. Hold on. This is a well, I'm going down.
Yikes.
Bosom
Well,
Buddies. You ever see that Bosom Buddies?
This is a funny show. Let's talk about some video games. What do you think about that?
You know, Tom Hanks was in that Bosom Buddies.
That's what I hear.
Tom
You
Hanks.
see that David S. Pumpkins sketch last week?
Amazing. Holy cow. Oh, land of mercy.
Some funny stuff.
He stands there and says a phrase.
That's right.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. All right.
Crazy.
Nintendo Switch.
I'm going to be him for Halloween, I think.
Because we
But next year when it's relevant.
we
you know,
clearly didn't talk about Nintendo Switch enough last week.
what do you think
more.
it would be like if Ken Bone dressed up like David S. Pumpkins? I think it would go
Oh God.
a little something like this. And that's all I have. You're
Okay.
supposed to cut me off.
Oh, okay.
You're supposed to cut
yeah,
me off.
Nintendo Switch.
What
Let's talk about that,
good.
shall
Oh,
we?
oh,
There's
boy.
more news. There's news.
What
Touchscreen.
news?
The news is, well, hold on. You're getting ahead of yourself.
This guy here.
Ethan just letting the cat out of the bag before it's time.
Dropping secrets. Like he drops dope beats.
All right, so Nintendo held their investor meeting last week,
Mhm.
and they announced that they're going to have a press event
Yes.
12th in the U.S. And it's January 13th in Japan. They're holding it at Tokyo Big Sight. Live streaming it over the internet, show off more games, give more details about the system, and we're going to find out the price and release date.
Okay.
And do you think that's when pre-orders will open up?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I really hope so. I want to be able to pre-order one of these and just know that I don't have to worry about going to the store whatever date it's coming out on.
Oh, goodness.
That'd be good.
And also, they said fewer coming in than Wii U at launch, right?
What do you mean?
Apparently, the initial shipment in March is going to be smaller than the initial allotment of Wii U machines were at its launch.
Well, all they said was the shipment in fiscal year or the current fiscal year is 2 million units. They didn't say like when in March that's going to happen. If it's the last day of March, that might not actually be bad news. If it's the first day of March, then yeah, that's bad news. They're not going to be making a whole lot of them. So I don't think we can really judge. But I think you're right that the initial like 2 months or something of Wii U was, or actually, I'm sorry, the period that was November to the end of March when the Wii U came out was like almost 4 million units.
Yeah.
So we'll find out more on January 12th. In the meantime, we've got some rumors that have hit, of course. Eurogamer confirmed that the Switch will have a 6.2-inch capacitive multi-touch touchscreen. Yeah.
What does Quarterman have to say about that?
For all those tablet games.
For all those tablet games. Yeah, 6.2-inch, by the way, is the size of the Wii U gamepad screen.
Oh.
So if you're wondering how big the screen is, there you go.
Shut up, Phil. Somewhere else with that.
No. And what is it? Glixel. If you follow Glixel on Twitter, they did this thing where they made like a cutout of the machine and put it in real life situations over the weekend, like going out for coffee and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's interesting.
Super nerdy. And then Emily Rogers confirmed that it's going to have 4 gigs of RAM, which means absolutely nothing.
Is that more or less than a PlayStation 4?
I don't know. No.
What does RAM stand for?
Random access memory.
There you go. Ethan wins.
It's also the name of a Dodge truck.
Wow.
Right? Anyway.
We're doing this for another 10 years?
Should we?
I'm wondering.
Really?
PlayStation 4 has 8 gigs, by the way, plus 256 megabits for background tasks.
Okay.
Just saying.
Okay.
I mean, we're expecting this thing to not win on specs either way, right?
Yep.
I mean,
just shrug it away, Johnston.
Shrug it away. I actually was looking to see what games the NVIDIA Shield runs.
Yeah.
The tablet, and they mainly push their game streaming service on that. They don't actually like run games on that thing, but they when you are downloading direct games, they're Android games. So I would
like the Nintendo Switch.
Imagine that Nintendo Switch is going to be similar, but we'll see.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean they do have some, like there's Half-Life 2 on there. I remember that. You know, so there's some things that are not explicitly on mobile.
Borderlands is on there too. Yeah, there are some things that are not strictly mobile games, but
there are things. There are definitely
things. There are games coming.
Say so.
Yes. Speaking of a thing, you know, Hello Games. They made that game.
This is the weakest
segue ever.
Speaking of things,
the makers of Joe Danger. Yes,
the makers of Joe Danger. There was a tweet that happened, I think, on Friday, right?
Oh yeah.
Where they said No Man's Sky was a mistake, and it quickly got deleted. And apparently, it was because their Twitter or their email got hacked in some way, or it was a disgruntled former employee that did it. So,
okay,
the internet was excited about that for 5 minutes.
You know, I heard
it just said it's a mistake.
Yeah,
that's all it said.
It's a meme. It's quoting a a meme about anime.
Ah, okay.
You mean anime?
Yeah. No, I do not.
You mean Aunt May?
I mean,
Pokemon anime is my favorite,
oh my god,
based on the manga.
no! Is that one of those Temco games?
Yeah, starring Gwilly.
Goulet.
Goulet.
I understand.
Guillaume, starring Guillaume.
It's Blanca.
I
Blanca.
understand the person who posted that tweet was the same person who broke into the Die Hard game fan office and started putting racial
right.
slurs in their magazine.
That's good stuff.
Remember that?
Yo,
I
yeah.
do remember. Yeah,
remember
of
those?
course.
Remember that? Huh? Yeah.
Those were
Broke into the
days.
office and spread
Remembering
those.
stuff is awesome.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, says Phil, who would mess around with our Quark docs just to see if Justin would catch things that he wrote in there. And one little thing almost didn't get caught because he didn't catch it, and you had to go and double check it, and there it was.
Yeah.
Where
What
it was.
was it?
It was a really small one. That's why it was so hard to catch. But it was www.capcom.com, and you changed Capcom to have an U instead of an O.
Oh Lord.
I think that might have just been a slip. Those are very close on the keyboard.
Oh God.
Well, that's okay. What was that? What was that Lord of the Rings game that you reviewed?
That didn't happen. That didn't happen.
That ended up on the cover, if I remember correctly.
No, it wasn't on the cover.
What was it again?
I can't understand why this magazine ever got canceled. You yahoos running it.
It was the Two Towers game, and I had
Sure was.
a preview of the game, and
Preview,
I
I'm
referred
sorry.
to it. Yes, I referred to it as the Twin Towers, and it was in very large font at the head of the preview. Yes.
Yeah,
Ethan?
and this was when? When was this? This was sometime in 2000, I think.
2001. Yeah.
Oh, it was 2001. You say? Probably
I can't
early.
believe that magazine lasted as long as it did.
Probably March or April sometime.
No.
No.
Uh-huh.
You went ahead and
It
ran
was-
that for what, like the October
It was
issue?
like
maybe?
October or November.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Ethan, were you just playing VR games before you started the show?
No.
'Cause your
Why
glasses
am I?
are all
Yeah, my
fogged up.
glasses are fogged. Oh yes, in fact I did. I was playing.
Don't lie.
I was playing Thumper. No, I was playing Thumper. But yes.
Yeah.
I can tell you've had a sweat box
Thumper is awesome.
for a while.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Yep.
Speaking of sweating,
Mm.
I'm interested to see where this goes.
Yeah.
game journalists might be sweating a little bit, or game reviewers anyway. Bethesda has announced that they will not be sending review copies out until the day before release date for their upcoming games. That includes Skyrim Remastered. Apparently, they did this when Doom came out earlier in the year, and it turned
Doom
out
is
just
awesome.
fine.
So
Doom is a great game.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
So there you go.
Though there was a lot of question about it before it came out, I passed on
Yeah.
picking it out, from the store day one because I hadn't read any reviews yet. I did end up getting it 2 weeks later, so obviously that's moot, and maybe that's what everyone else did too. But
Yeah.
Hmm.
And of course, it spawned a lot of talk about, don't pre-order games.
No, it
Why
didn't
you- why
spawn
you-
a lot of talk about that. It spawned talk about that from all the regular suspects.
Yes.
Especially the Cooch.
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty much. Don't pre-order games. Stop pre-ordering games. What are you doing? You're
Not
pre-ordering
sure what
games.
one really has to do with the other.
Well, and I got an-
well, especially if you're pre-ordering a physical copy, you can just return it. And if you're using the Best Buy Gamers Club Unlocked or the Amazon 20% off, and if you want these games at launch, why wouldn't you pre-order?
Right.
Well, the Best Buy thing works all the time.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then
the
there you go.
Gamers Club Unlocked is always 20% off, and the Amazon thing is good for pre-orders and up to 2 weeks after launch.
Okay. Well, yeah.
So I just knocked down that.
well,
But no
Last
reason
time
not
You
to
know,
pre-order still.
CJ.
No reason not to
I am-
pre-order still. That's what I'm
Last
saying.
time I pre-ordered a game, it was obviously really recently in that it was Titanfall 2. What was interesting is they said, "Oh, thanks for pre-ordering this one because we have a quota to hit." And I said, "What's your quota?" And he said, "Well, we have to get 100 of these pre-ordered." And I asked, "Well, how close are you?" And this was like less than a week before the game came out, and he's like 9. So,
Whoa.
yeah, they have some pretty unrealistic goals there. And then I
You're talking about EB or whatever they're called there now.
GameStop, yeah. And then I promptly ended up picking it up at Best Buy instead, just because it was closer and easier during lunchtime. But yeah, it is nice though to be able to pre-order if there are rare games or games that really they do have a low stock on. So as I'm picking up the last of the Vita games, it's been really handy to just pre-order those because otherwise you will not get them.
What a weird world Ethan lives in where Amazon does not exist.
I like going to stores and
That's
buying
so
them, and I like
weird.
trading stuff in for it too.
I can understand that. I can understand going into a store and getting a game. There is a definite excitement there that is not there when you are just ordering off of Amazon.
Okay.
Well,
I guess.
also,
I mean, I don't
Phil-
get any of that because I buy digital anyway, so it doesn't
Right.
even matter.
Yeah,
But I can
exactly.
understand.
But that's the thing. People get it differently. The thing for me, though, also is we've had problems with people stealing stuff off of the porches of our condo. So it's not particularly
Well,
safe.
to be fair, you live in a really bad area.
Right.
I mean, seriously, that's not a nice neighborhood you live in. Right there on the beach.
But Greg, you pre-ordered everything, pretty much.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's funny because this is the main article I read from this, and I mean, I have opinions about whether or not Bethesda should be sending stuff out a little bit early. I really don't think it's a good thing, but I don't understand, or I shouldn't say I don't understand, because Ben in particular always finds another reason to call out the fact that he thinks pre-ordering is the devil.
Right.
But I think it's a pretty.
I always find it weird when you go to that website and they say don't pre-order, and then at the top of the page there's a big ad for Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, pre-order now, and
Right.
it's just
Yeah, I mean, it led to a GAF thread as well that I was reading a little bit, and I mean, I get people not liking pre-orders, although they're laying at the feet of pre-orders everything that's wrong with the industry, which I think is insane.
right.
Microtransactions aren't a product of pre-ordering. And
Right.
you read a lot of people saying, look, nothing good comes from pre-ordering. There's no benefit to pre-ordering. It's like, no, that's absolutely untrue. For everything we just said, I mean, that 20% off thing that Amazon does every year, that's hugely helpful, especially now in Canada where after tax, video games are costing almost $100.
Right.
A $20 savings is huge.
Sure.
So plus there's the convenience factor of it. And I know that people, roll their eyes and say, you can go out and buy them at a store, and if it's important to you, you can. But at the same time, if you pre-order at a place like Amazon, I don't even have to think about it. Like, the game shows up. Great. Awesome. That's exactly why I pre-ordered. So
Yeah.
Well, yeah, even on that end in retail, when I did go and ultimately get Titanfall 2 at Best Buy, the issue was it wasn't out on the regular store shelves, and someone said, no, it's up at the front. And I went and looked at the front, and it wasn't there. And I finally had to ask someone who had to go in back to go grab it after looking for a while. And that's just kind of a pain. So
Why
instead,
does anybody shop at physical stores anymore?
well, I mean, but to be
Oh.
fair,
I
if
just
had
got home and my game's sitting right there in a box.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, if I had gone to the GameStop that I had pre-ordered it at, I just would have walked in, said I had my
Would've been
pre-order, and I'd be done. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this also speaks to the role of video game reviews versus day one streaming as well. Like,
right, and that's what they that was the bigger sort of controversy here, because apparently Bethesda is still providing streamers
sure,
with early copies of the game, not the same day that it's released.
right.
Because I think even when all this was announced, people were already streaming Skyrim Special Edition at the time or something like that. So, I mean, I don't necessarily think it. Well, there are arguments for and against what they're doing. I don't necessarily think it's a great thing for them to be doing that, but I really don't see the correlation between that and stop pre-ordering.
So, and I do have one old man question, because I remember G4, one of the things that took that down was the premise that, hey, people aren't going to want to watch G4 because they would rather just play a game. But now we have Twitch, and I still am not quite sure what the use case is for it. Is it something that people tend to just do on a second screen as they're doing something else? Because I really don't get like
that
why
really
you do
is
that instead of
that
playing
really
games.
is an old man question. We are the wrong generation for that. Because, and I'm being totally honest. I mean, there are just people that is what they see as entertainment is just sitting there watching other people play games, and more power to them.
My son has discovered Let's Play.
My daughter does that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Watches us as well.
He likes watching other kids play Skylanders now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I'll watch Let's Play videos or streams of games that I haven't bought that I'm kind of interested in, and I actually do that more than I read reviews of those.
I don't. That's
I guess
for me, the whole Bethesda thing, honestly, it doesn't. Like I said, I can see the negative of it, but it honestly doesn't affect me. I don't read professional reviews anymore. And what I think is really funny is that when we're talking about Bethesda games, a lot of these Elder Scrolls.
Yeah,
a lot of these Elder Scrolls games have come out with game-breaking bugs, which reviewers with very early review copies never ever seem to catch. So it's just kind of ironic that it's this company that's causing all the controversy.
And again, that's so weird to me simply because I've been in many cases just recently where I will flip out my phone, check Metacritic, see what people think. Is one version of Titanfall 2 better than the other? This Vita game that I haven't seen on store shelves before, should I prioritize it by picking it up? Let's check Metacritic, right? It's like I'm constantly checking reviews. That's just a part of the process of deciding what to get and what not to. And in fact, what I don't trust ever are the user reviews, because the user reviews, as we all know, go either to 0 or 10. There's no such thing as anything in the middle because these are not nuanced opinions.
Let me ask you a question then. What do you consider a good Metacritic score? Like if you were debating whether or not you're going to buy a Vita RPG and you look up a Metacritic, where's the threshold for you?
So the threshold for me is I won't prioritize purchasing anything that's below 70, and I will much more heavily prioritize something that's above 80. And you almost never see anything that gets into 90. 90, you're talking about like Persona, stuff like that.
Almost nothing that's over 90 on Metacritic. Like it's funny, like you ask people, oh, what would you consider a good Metacritic score? And people are like, oh, 85 or 90. And then you look at the games that get that versus, some of my favorite games of the year. My favorite indie games, those are usually a lot lower than 85. So
sure. So I think correct me if I'm wrong, CJ, but like Headlander was in like 77 or 78 or something like that, right?
Yeah, 77. Mm-hmm.
Okay, see, and that's just off the top of my head, but that's a game I really enjoy, and that's why 70s don't push me off at all.
Right.
But and why also, like, I think like Grand Kingdom or something like that was like at an 84 or 85 on Vita. I'm like, okay, I don't know much about this game, but that's an instant buy, Right. But point being simply like I still really rely on reviews, and reviews are super helpful. And I'll look at them quickly in the store, but I also read them. I still get every single month Games TM and Edge and Game Informer, and I read the reviews every single month and get a lot out of it. I read all the reviews that I could find on Titanfall 2 when I brought it home. And many times for me, it's less should I at that point buy the game, and more I'm interested in seeing what other people who are good writers and who have played a lot of video games have to say about a game that I'm playing now. Sure. I'm curious.
What question for you on in terms of outlets or particular writers? Do you have any that if you're looking at a Metacritic page, do you look for a particular outlet or writer? Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm mostly interested, as I said, Edge and Games TM. I like what Game Informer has to say. IGN and GameSpot I look at very carefully. Eurogamer, US Gamer rather. Those are ones that I'm interested in.
Okay.
Giant Bomb's always interesting.
Yep.
What about you?
I mostly watch Let's Play videos now.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'll usually watch. Game Informer does this great series on their YouTube channel called Test Chamber, and they play a lot of games on there. And it's very similar to Giant Bomb's Quick Looks. I look at both channels actually, and I'll watch those because those are usually super informative.
Yeah.
Like they'll either have the person who is reviewing it with the person who knows nothing about the game, like basically interviewing them about the game. Like it's great, and it's a great resource. And I'll also watch Let's Plays.
Okay, and that's totally cool. That makes sense. Phil and Greg, do you pay attention to reviews anymore?
Never.
No.
I could not tell you the last time I read a professional review.
Yeah, same
That's
here.
amazing. I mean, especially given where you guys were coming from. I found that I'm just super disappointed now when I go to airports and there are no video game magazines. And, again, I like the trip to Barnes & Noble just because they have the European ones.
You know what? I really like the European magazines, and I still will read them, but I'll read them for the features.
Yeah, same
Yeah,
here.
that's true.
I don't know. I think the whole new games journalism thing a few years back turned me off from reading reviews at all because, I don't know. It's the longest time there where I was reading reviews that just I felt like they weren't actually servicing the consumer the way they should.
Well, no.
It was really hard to find out whether you thought this game was good or bad or worth my money. There was always this big thing about like, well, we shouldn't even mention price. We shouldn't consider price. And it's like, no, I don't agree with that. These are product reviews. And I finally just gave up on it. And now, like, between doing this show and talking to people like Kevin Larrabee online all the time, and, and then between that and my group of friends at work and just generally my group of friends, I have more than enough valid opinions, as well as actually our forum, too. Like, if there's enough of a groundswell about a game that I'm on the fence about, I have more than enough people to go to or to listen to that will most likely be playing it to make a decision.
And a lot of times now, games aren't complete at release.
Right.
And you'll have reviews that'll give it a score on release date, and that's it. Whereas a lot of these games, Overwatch and Splatoon and Mario Maker and a lot of the games that I really like, even the ones that aren't on Nintendo systems, they evolve. They have extra content, and I feel like the reviews aren't going to take any of that into account. I actually find that I prefer the review in progress things that happen when reviewers don't get review copies and they have to do it over the course of a few days and write like blog entries basically that eventually turn into a review. I actually kind of prefer that.
Yeah, I will actually sit and read those. Yeah. Like if something I'm interested in, I would rather read first impressions than a full-fledged review.
And it was actually,
well, let me ask you guys.
There was something we did at EGM. I don't know if you remember this, where we would not stop coverage at the review. We would do.
I remember Gran Turismo 3 was one of the first games we did that with.
Gran Turismo 3 and some of the fighting games we did, and Halo, we did like monthly updates.
Yep.
And that was great. Like that running coverage for games that people are actually actively playing now. That's what I felt, and I still feel, is the most valuable.
Well, and that makes all the more sense now. I mean, one thing I'm learning, and it's super exciting and interesting, is we're going to, at the company I'm at the end of this month, hopefully launch our first game into early access. And the game is designed to evolve considerably after that. But, it's still a premium product, right? But it's like you get people in for the very first kind of playable vertical slice. And, so whatever the review would be at that time would be different when the game is finished. But here's the other big part of games editorial that I absolutely love. And I wonder if you guys pay attention to it anymore outside of the one you do every year, and that is the end of year kind of best ofs, right? I absolutely love listening to all like 8 hours of Giant Bomb going over every single best of for different categories. And one of the things I like the most about it is it seems so specific to games as a product, because like when I was working on mobile, no one talked about the best iPhone games of 2015. No one talks about that type of thing in that space. But like in console, it's a big deal, and that is really grounded, I think, by editorial discussions. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I like those discussions as well. I also like when products get announced, like the PS4 or the Xbox One or the Nintendo Switch, where all the podcasts I listen to are talking about it. Like I love that especially.
Yeah, all the Switch stuff was great to hear. Oh, and if anyone hasn't listened to the IGN Nintendo podcast, John Davison is on that one this week.
Yeah, John Davison talking with Jose and Pear and the other guy, Agent Bizzle.
Yep, good stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Alrighty, let's move into what we've been playing. What do you think about that?
Sure.
I'm not against it.
Okay.
Yeah. Can't think of a reason not to.
Phil, you want to go first?
Yeah.
Why not?
About all I've been playing this week. You know what? Before I get into what I've been playing this week,
Yeah.
I got a little story to tell.
Tell your story.
This all started a couple of days ago when Limited Run Games put up some new games to purchase, and I totally ordered that. I totally ordered both Shantae games for the PS4.
Nice.
So I'm very excited to get those. Did any of you guys order those? They're not Vita games, Ethan, so I can't imagine you bothered.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun.
No, it's true. I pick up every Vita, and I can't wait for Stranger's Wrath, which is their next one. But no, I didn't get the PS4 one.
Oh man,
Yes. Stranger's Wrath was a game that I really loved when it came out, and I went back and tried to replay it when it came out in HD, and I could not play that game.
Really? I like it.
I feel like it hasn't aged well. I really liked it when it was new. Really liked it when it was new. Yeah.
So did I.
Played through it, really enjoyed every second of it, and then I tried to play the HD remakes. Like, I don't really enjoy this very much.
Too bad.
Yeah.
That is too bad. But yeah, I'm very excited. The Shantae games sold out very quickly, and mine are on their way. And then I have the upcoming Half Genie Hero on.
Nice.
Hey, I have it pre-ordered.
Haha.
For the PS4 as well, so I'll have.
When the heck is that coming out?
Who knows?
Haven't they been close to Haven't they been close to finished for quite a while now?
Yes.
People gave Mighty Number 9 crap for getting pushed back and pushed back, but Shantae, the Shantae Kickstarter was at the same time, and I
should
have
have. You should be talking about this two guys space venture.
Oh, jeez,
that's been
is
a
that
while.
even happening still?
Apparently, I haven't seen an update in a while.
Define a while. I forgot.
I would have to go to my email and look it up.
I mean, that has to be years, right?
No, there have been updates. There have been updates for backers. Yep.
Crazy.
I'm gonna look it up.
Shantae Half Genie Hero apparently ships December 13th.
Oh, and that is Vita as well, actually.
Yeah. Are you? I'm assuming you're getting that.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yep. You should. You should order it on Amazon right now. You can. Are you a Amazon Prime member?
I am.
$23.99.
Okay, I would definitely think that would be a good deal.
See, that's just popping back into the pre-order real quick. See, this is why I pre-order all my games on Amazon, because first of all, canceling it is no problem.
Super easy.
It's super easy. No one gives you any hassle about, why don't you just put the money on a different game? And they don't charge you a penny until the game ships.
Yep, that's nice. Actually, I kind of wish that was the case for Fangamer, because I was promised my Shovel Knight on PS Vita physical copy by the end of October, and now they just pushed it back again. And it's like, I've already paid for it. I want it either way, but I really get bummed out when they do that, especially something that should be fairly straightforward.
Right. So, anyway, I'm very pleased to have those on their way.
Nice.
So, the only new thing that I played this week, I've been playing more of that Picross 3D Volume 2.
That's a good game.
I am on puzzle 315.
Holy cow!
Of that, I actually just reduced the difficulty to medium, because I gotten up to about puzzle 310, and the thing is that I don't think there's anything left to unlock at this point, and every puzzle was taking 25 minutes to 35 minutes to finish.
Oh,
so I still love it. I mean, I'm playing it like crazy. It's like all I'm playing on my DS since it came out.
Nice.
But yeah, I haven't quite finished it yet. I think I've got all the books unlocked now.
Did you unlock the amiibo puzzles?
No, I haven't, because I'm kind of like, I just doing them in the order that they appear. So every time a new book appears, the amiibo book gets pushed back another page.
Oh, okay.
So I just haven't really reached it yet. So there is a ton. Holy crap! The amount, like I said, I'm on like puzzle 315, and I still have like a few books to go. So there are a ton of puzzles in that thing.
I'm irritated. There's one amiibo that I do not have that works with the game, so I'm missing one puzzle. that I'm gonna have.
Oh,
to,
really?
Yeah, I do not have a
Well,
Luigi.
you gotta go buy an amiibo.
I don't
You
have a
don't have a
Luigi
Luigi?
amiibo. No, I do
Aw.
not.
How do you
Well,
not
I'm
have a
ass-
Luigi amiibo?
I'm assuming Ethan has a Luigi amiibo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So next time I go over to Ethan's house, I'm just gonna bring my game and unlock it there.
I would say the next time you go to Ethan's house, you just steal that Luigi amiibo.
Oh,
That's
well, I
easier
could
for
do that.
everyone.
I could do that.
And you don't have to carry that 3DS everywhere, and
And
That's-
Ethan has so
and
many
that-
amiibo that he won't even notice that it's gone.
he won't even notice it's
Mm.
missing.
That's right.
That's true.
Though I
But,
think I am on the decline with that. Just a quick note: I saw Kid
Yeah.
Icarus, which I've never seen in stores before, and I didn't buy it. So
You saw who?
You mean saw Pit?
Kid Icarus. Yes, Pit. Thank you. Thank you.
What
Such
about-
douchebags.
Dark Kid Icarus.
Oh, stop.
How about
Dark Pit.
You know who I meant. Yes.
how about Die Hard?
This is when Die Hard jumps out the window.
This is where Jaws eats the boat. Well, you know, Greg, you're talking about how Across 3D Volume 2 is the only thing you've been playing on your 3DS. Might I recommend you avoid, because I know you don't care, but might I recommend everyone else play the demo version of Pokemon Sun and Moon?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was out. My
There's the
daughter's
demo
going to
version.
freak out tonight. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, she's going to double freak out because she's getting the game, obviously, right?
We have it pre-ordered. Yeah.
Of course you do. You shouldn't ever
Don't
games, though.
pre-order.
You shouldn't pre-order games. But if she plays through the demo, which she will, and it's not a very long demo, it's like half an
No.
hour maybe.
that.
But if you play through the demo, you will unlock an exclusive Pokemon for use in the retail game when it comes out.
That's great.
Ooh, she will love that. Yeah.
So yeah. So there
How's the
you
game
go.
look?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Awesome.
It's really nice looking. CJ, you've played this as well, right?
I have, and yeah, it looks really awesome. And I
Yeah.
also can't wait for them to make an actual like console Pokemon game.
Yeah.
But they have really polished this thing up, especially since now you're not locked to the grid system for movement. Like there's really a more open world feel.
Yeah.
That's
to
cool.
this.
So, and I'm not nitpicking. I don't care either way. It won't make a purchase difference at all. But have they figured out how to do 3D in the overworlds, or is that still
No.
locked off?
No.
They still don't do that, and yeah, the final game won't support that. I think 3D is only in the like Pokemon
That's-
Snap-ish mode or whatever.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
there's
it's not worth it. Leave it off.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know how you felt, Phil, about this particular update to the game.
what's
They
that?
the last time around in X and Y, they did that whole experience share thing and made it really easy, basically, to level up your Pokemon. But you could remove
Right.
that if you wanted to, play more in a more difficult fashion. But now they also after you have battled a Pokemon, when you battle them again, they list off, or they basically tell you in the
yeah.
attack menu whether an attack is going to be effective, not effective, or
I
not.
love
like
that. I
I
love
it too.
Yeah, it the first time you battle the Pokemon, it doesn't have those little cheat
It doesn't.
sheets. It
No.
makes you figure it out and win a battle against them one time legit. But yeah, every time after that, all your attacks, it will let you know if they're effective or not effective. And yeah, I love that.
It is absolutely
wonder if that'll-
brilliant. And people on
Will that
GAF
happen
are
in-
like, "This is the worst thing to happen."
No,
They're
I think
cheating the
it's
game. I was like, "This is the best thing to happen."
Yeah.
Well, I was about to ask if they would do that for the boss fights, but if you have to, if they're introducing new Pokemon during the boss fights,
Right.
and you don't see it the first time, then no, you still
Right.
would be. Yeah, that makes
That's
perfect
right.
sense.
Yeah.
It just makes it a whole
I-
lot easier for grown adults to play and actually expect to do anything in this game.
mean,
so, yeah.
You know, I'm trying to keep track of all my Pokemon. I'm trying to keep track of all my Digimon. I'm trying to keep track of all my yokai. You know,
I have
it's
no
very,
idea
very difficult.
which dark attacks are powerful against fairy types. Like I
Dark,
just don't know.
Dark is good against psychic. I know that.
Yeah.
You want dark against psychic. But yeah, once you start throwing in like the fairy types and stuff, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I'm an old man.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean this demo is really good. It's really super polished, and it got me way more excited for the game.
Yeah, same here.
It's coming out in a month. And the demo itself is short. I don't know if you noticed this. You can go back into it and play some additional areas that
Oh no, I
in
didn't
the
know that.
regular demo. Yeah, you get access to a Tauros in your second play, basically, and you can access some areas that are not accessible in the first playthrough. And there's some time limited content as well, where like people in the town will say, "Oh, I'm waiting here for somebody. They'll be here in 5 days or 4 days or 3 days or whatever it is."
Oh.
And if you come back and play, they'll say something different or do something different. So it's pretty cool.
Huh.
Yeah, and it's a totally, like, it is a demo of Sun and Moon, but it's completely separate from the game. You're given a Pokemon at the beginning. This is not a part of the full game. It's a separate.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Very
Nice.
cool. Checking that out tonight.
It's definitely download that for Winnie. There, she will.
She'll dig it.
She will be very grateful.
Yeah. Hey, I'm downloading it for myself too. Sounds fun.
Now, there you go.
As well, you should. That all you've been playing there, Phil?
That's really it. Yeah.
Okay. Greg?
What are we talking about?
The games that you've been playing?
The Pokemans? Oh,
Pokemon.
Sorry. Yeah, I've been playing stuff. Sure, I can talk about that.
Okay.
I know that Ethan's been playing this because he doesn't. One VR helmet's not enough for Ethan, so
Right.
he went and got PlayStation VR, and I know that he's played Arkham VR as well this past week.
Yes, I did. Yep. In one sitting.
Well, it's only like an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
So yeah, how'd you like it?
I thought it was great. I think that what it does is that it shows off just how important having a great experience is in VR as opposed to being given a set of skill-based challenges. So the game made me feel like Bruce Wayne becoming Batman. And so even though there really are no puzzles that will stump you, just the sense of the ambience, the sense of presence, of being there, was so powerful that it let me feel like being Batman to a greater degree than any other game, even though you don't get to throw a single punch. I loved it.
Yeah, I really dig it as well, and I think you're exactly right. I think it's a great example of a smart use of a license to make a really, really great VR experience, but keeping in mind all the limitations, not only of VR, but of the PlayStation VR, because that is a little bit different than the Vive, clearly.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's very much Batman the Detective. The whole thing is you're playing Batman the Detective.
Well, and I'll take it one step further and say that it is better looking than any game I have played so far on the Vive, which isn't to say that Vive is not more capable graphically, because certainly it is.
Production values are huge.
This is Rocksteady doing VR, and now you can see what happens when a AAA team does it, and it's a big difference.
Yeah. No, and it makes some really nice use of the Move controllers, and I gotta say, like it ran very smoothly for me. The first time I played it, it didn't, but I realized that was actually, every now and then the PlayStation VR will be just like, nope, you've got to sort of reset everything. The tracking will get a little bit wonky. But the second time, that was the first time I tried it. The second time I tried it, though, it ran smooth as glass for the entire experience. And again, like I really liked, like Ethan said, none of the puzzles will stump you at all. But you just get to, you get to feel like you're using the tools that you have, like the scanner and things like that. Like at one point you're scanning cadavers for shrapnel, so you can identify a bomb and put together like figure out what type of detonator was used and that sort of thing. And it's all very straightforward, all very linear. But I really, really enjoyed it.
Also, the sense of scale. I don't want to give anything away, so I'll simply say when you have, at one point in the game, characters towering over you, that was pretty impactful for me.
Mm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Also, I'm trying to think.
Beginning of the game.
You fight Devastator?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, actually, you're right, and I wouldn't want to give anything away either. I mean, that is just the beginning of the game, but where the whole experience is only like an hour and a half long, I wouldn't want to give anything away.
Yeah.
But you're right. Yeah,
Right.
I felt the same way. I was like, oh, this is very cool. It's actually sort of, it feels like it's changing my scale.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
like, all right, neat. But yeah, and then of course, when you finish it the first time, you actually unlock Riddler challenges.
I haven't started those yet myself.
Neither have I, although I will say I am going to give this part away. So the way that the game works, and anybody who's paid any attention to like any VR stuff, Vive and Oculus, one of the things that's been happening a lot is sort of teleportation. To move around to move around worlds, you're using teleportation. And so that's how this works with Batman. You're using he uses his grapple hook sometimes, but more or less anyway, you look anywhere and it's like, okay, so there's a hotspot that I can go to. I press the move button on my move controller and I flash to that point. So when you go out on your first investigation, you start in a fire escape in Gotham and you're actually outside a window. And if you look in the window, you can tell that you're actually looking at Edward Nygm's apartment, which is pretty cool. There's no reason to do it. It's just like, it's one of those things where, because it's VR and it's such a sort of a new thing for most people, almost every scene I'm ever in, I always look around everywhere. I just want to see, like, what's this? What's over there? What's that? And it's like, hey, wait, there's a green hat on the chair in that apartment I'm standing next to. And you sort of duck down and look in. It's like, oh crap, that's Edward Nygma's apartment. That's kind of a neat thing.
Well, and a couple times in the game, you get to look in a mirror, and looking in the mirror and seeing
and dance as Batman. Do the Batoozy.
It's just really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or even times where you have to tiptoe and, like, you know, peek into things and stuff is nice.
And I mean, it really does a lot when you consider that you're using a move controller to control your hands. And I mean, that's old tech at this point, really old tech. It's like 6 years old. It's quite responsive. And I mean, there are puzzles in the game where you're actually manipulating pieces of like fragments of an object in 3D space and you're putting them together. And it really handles everything well, like way better than I expected it to.
Well, they're very careful not to turn you around too many times either.
Well, that's just what I'm saying. It's really built with the limitations of the PSVR in mind. I mean, you know, with the PlayStation VR, you can turn around and it will handle it for the most part. But if you're turning around and you're using two move controllers, those are tracked by light, obviously. And if you're hiding it, you know, then God knows what's going to happen. So yeah, it's just very, very intelligently designed.
Yeah, if you like,
really
Batman,
highly recommend it.
Yeah, you got to check it out, and don't be put off by the $20 for an hour and a half, because honestly, if you are a novelty seeker, and I think just about anyone who listens to this podcast is certainly anyone who has PSVR, this is a novelty worth exploring, and it's worth the price
for sure. It's definitely going to go down as like one of the earliest examples of the reason why you want to be playing VR games.
Yep.
So. Also checked out Battlefield 1. I don't know if any of you guys tried that.
I played a little of it.
Yeah.
A very little.
Oh, I still forget that that's available on EA Access. I'll try that this week.
Apparently, if you're just interested in the single-player campaign, it's quite short. So if you've got 10 hours, I think you probably would actually be able to finish it from everything I've read.
Well, maybe I'll Redbox it.
Yeah. So I played it a little bit, loved it, really, really enjoyed it. Although it's a little bit dramatic at points. Like there's sort of a level of realism there that I really like. The very first missions you play as is kind of like making you jump around all over the battlefield, and of course, where it's World War I, your life expectancy is very low. So you're jumping from, which I think you've already described on the show before, CJ, which is actually what you described is not how the campaign works completely. That's how that mission works.
Right.
So anyway, the other mission that I was running was actually the tank mission, where I believe it was, I forget whereabouts it was. Maybe it was North Africa. Anyway, so yeah, going along in this tank, and then at one point you get bogged down and attacked. You're being attacked by a bunch of Germans, and you actually release. I think it's either a pigeon or a dove.
It's a pigeon.
It's a pigeon, which, of course, if you know anything about World War I, that was how a lot of communication was done, through carrier pigeon. So you see it right at the beginning in the cinemas. Like you walk into the tank and there's a cage with a pigeon in it. It's like, that's odd, but then you realize that that's what it's used for. But then when you send the carrier pigeon back to the British lines, because you're basically giving them your position because they want them to fire artillery at the tank. You actually play as the pigeon.
Yes, you do.
Oh.
You fly back as the
A
pigeon.
little dramatic.
I took a screenshot of that moment because I thought it was just ridiculous, but also kind of cool.
But it is. I mean, you can see why you're doing it because you're getting literally a bird's eye view of Battlefield 1, right? So. But one thing that is weird is that in the second segment of those missions, you actually have to get out of the tank because there's a bunch of gun emplacements in like a forested area, and you have to move forward and you have to take out these guns before the tank will move up. So I did that, but there was one point where I got stuck where I found a gun emplacement and I found some dynamite, and so I would go place the dynamite next to the gun and then walk away and I detonate, and every time I detonated, it kicked me out to the main menu, every single time. So I don't know what was happening. It doesn't feel like I'm doing anything wrong because, I just don't see it kicking me to the main menu. And there's like no mention of you're dead or you did something wrong or anything like that. It's just you're literally being kicked out to the main menu every time. So
interesting. In that mission, I think I played that same area where it said take out these guns, but they were actually people with guns wandering around that were marked. It wasn't like...
Oh, there are people there too, but my understanding of the way the mission is described is that you want to avoid them. There's a light stealth element there.
Yeah, I stealth killed everybody there, and
maybe that's what I have to do.
It was fine after that.
But I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I mean, for what it's worth, what I have played of the campaign is really nice. I'm
it's a beautiful game too.
Glad I'm playing it. Yeah,
beautiful.
I got it.
Wow.
I'll
be back.
Okay.
Weak.
All right then. Well, I guess I'll talk about what I've been playing real quick.
Please.
All right. So I picked up Rock Band Rivals.
No.
Oh, how's it?
This is a DLC. It's a standalone. Well, I guess it's not standalone. Sorry, it's DLC for Rock Band 4.
Okay.
That is $30, and it doesn't come with any songs. That's right. Rock Band DLC that doesn't come with any songs.
What a deal.
What a deal. But what it does come with, it comes with a new single-player campaign mode called Rock-U-Drama.
Okay.
So, and it's this sort of behind-the-music mockumentary type of thing where they take your band and they have those, like, behind-the-music style or I love the 80s, I love the 90s, etc. style thing with your band. So you have various, like, pop culture experts or rock and roll journalists talking about your band as they come up from playing shows at high schools to being a big league band and falls from grace and everything that happens in behind the music, very similar to that. But the segments themselves are live action with real actors.
Okay, I kind of like that. I like that in Guitar Hero as well.
Is Michael Ian Black in it?
No.
Oh.
But they have, I don't know if you looked at any of the Rock Band marketing from the past year. When Rock Band 4 was coming out, they had this guy named Cool Terry, and he's like an 80s metal guy. He's in the game. He's in the Rock-U-Drama stuff. So it's funny though. It actually kind of gets a chuckle out of me. It doesn't overstay its welcome, thankfully. So it's just a nice little extra single-player campaign for the game, which is nice.
Is it worth $30, or do you get more for that?
You get more for it. So it also comes with a Rivals mode. And Rivals mode, you can join an online crew. So up to 10 people can be in a crew, and you can basically do a battle of the bands and different challenges and whatnot on a weekly basis against other crews. So I've been doing that. I joined a crew on GAF, and I mean, I play a lot of Rock Band, but I'm not like the person who's 5-starring or gold-starring things on Expert all the time.
Sure.
Whereas there are a lot of people who are still playing Rock Band are that type of player. They are the expert players. So I am feeling a little bit of anxiety. It's like because you're joining a crew and you don't want to, weigh your crew down. But
Right.
if you're not able to do like 5-star full combo on expert, then you kind of feel like you're not contributing as much as you could. So I feel like there's a lot of weird social pressure in the game now that wasn't there before, and so I don't know if I'm going to stick with the crew. I probably will. They've done 2 challenges, 2 weekly challenges so far. The first one was I forget, just like 3 random songs. This one is like songs that start with C. Is the challenge.
Like
so
cookie.
like cookie.
Cookie,
Yeah.
cookie starts with C. Is that one of the
So-
songs?
No. So they
No.
have spotlight challenges where they pick 3 songs that everybody's going to have that meet that criteria. And then you can also play other songs in your library that meet that same criteria. So the first challenge, I just remembered what it was. It was songs that had love in the title.
Mm-hmm.
So you could
Okay.
basically play, they picked 3 for you, and then you could pick any other song that had love in the title that was in your library. Same thing with songs that started with C. You can have anything that contributes to your crew. So, yeah. And it's a fun little mode. Yeah, $30 seems to be an all right price for that. You will also be getting other updates later in the year. They're bringing back online play, for instance, and that'll be part of the Rivals DLC.
Why was that bye-bye to begin with? Was it just too difficult to do in time for launch?
I think it was too difficult for them to do in time for launch, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I don't mind paying an extra $30 for a game that I really enjoy to get more upkeep and more updates. I'm fine with that. So
Sure.
that's why I did it. And I got 10 pre-order songs because they did give you pre-order songs, but no actual songs as part of the DLC. Anyway, also played an iPhone game. That's right, a mobile game that some people might be interested in. It's called Pinout, and it's an endless pinball game. So yeah, you basically hit the ball and it goes to another table, and you use the flippers to hit it again, and it goes to another table, and you basically have to see how far you can get. And it is a free game, free download.
How far can you go?
Yeah, exactly. But if you want to pay $1, I think it's $1.99, you can get the premium version, which allows you to start from checkpoints. So the game is free. You can play it basically as long as you want, but each time you have to restart. Or if you pay the $1.99, you can start from checkpoints. So I think that's a pretty good deal. $1.99 is not that much for a mobile game, so I felt no shame in paying it.
Sounds good.
It is good too. I highly recommend it. It looks beautiful. The soundtrack's great. I think it's from the people who did. There was another game that I think Mike Phillips talked about on this show that was a driving game. That was from the same studio. And
wait.
they also did the same
game.
Yeah, Does Not Commute. You're right.
Yeah,
that one.
That was a good game.
Good game. Similar mechanic where they had you and they also did Smash Hit on iPhone.
What's
which
the
is a
name of
great
this game?
Another great game too. This one's called Pinout with an exclamation point. One word.
One word.
Pinout exclamation.
This is.
It's free to try. It's free to try.
I've been my iOS game time lately has been eaten up by PewDiePie's Tuber Simulator. So,
I don't think you're being serious.
So I've sunk a lot of money into that one. All right, I don't want to call myself a whale, but I've sunk an awful lot of money.
Close to 10K now, isn't it, Phil?
That's what I tell my wife.
Yikes! Yikes!
That's the total I give her.
Anyway, you should try Pinout.
Pinout.
All right.
Really fun game on mobile.
Okay.
Endless pinball game. You'll like it. It's free to try. So
I do like the pinball.
That was featured too, wasn't it?
That was indeed featured. Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
All
And yeah, that's basically all I've been playing. So Ethan.
Yes. So I've been having a great time this week playing games. I picked up Titanfall 2 on the PlayStation 4. I was a huge fan of Titanfall 1, which was surprising even to me because I don't really like multiplayer games. But that one,
Right.
for whatever reason, totally pulled me in. I think a big part of it was that you have the grunts when you're just starting to learn how to play in multiplayer so that there are easy targets to make you feel successful. And once you finally click with it and you can actually take on other humans, you really feel a sense of empowerment being behind those giant mechs. So I had actually flipped the first game. I know that in Call of Duty it's called prestiging. I don't know if it's called the same thing in Titanfall or not, but you know, I really enjoyed it, you know, and played every bit of it. And so this one I picked up on PlayStation 4, not because I don't think the Xbox One would be great, but because, as it turns out, most of my friends are on PlayStation 4, so it's going to be easier to find matches. But the addition of a campaign is a huge deal to me, and the campaign is the real deal. It is as robust and gorgeous and full of set pieces as any Call of Duty game I've played. And I really like the story that they're telling. They really focus on the bond between you as the pilot and the Titan, and it almost has kind of an Iron Giant type of vibe, which surprised me.
Nice.
But it's cool, yeah. And so BD is the name of the Titan, and he's smart and he can help you through missions. And sometimes you're fighting within him, but obviously there are plenty of missions where you are going solo, and both feel fantastic. It's just a really satisfying experience, whether you're playing against others or playing solo. And the other thing that's kind of nice is as you're talking to BD through the missions, they will usually give you a branching path choice as to how to respond to him. So you're also just subtly changing the relationship and feeling empowered as it relates to actually defining who your pilot is, which is kind of neat. Yeah, I've been really happy with that, and they've made some interesting changes to the gameplay. One of the most apparent ones when you start jumping in, if you've played the first, is that your Titans do not regenerate. So once they get knocked down, you have to go and find extra energy cells, which makes it a much more vulnerable piece of kit. You don't just kind of smash everything with want and abandon and then go hide and get better and keep doing it. And it does feel, at least, like it takes longer than it did before to get your Titan, because it's based on a timer and the number of kills you get. Maybe I'm just not good at the game yet to be able to have that timer speed up. But it's fine because, again, when you're on foot, the combination of just the kind of parkour style jumping from wall to wall, the double jumps, everything feels great. And so I know a lot of people really like Battlefield. That one's interesting to me in its kind of historical framing. Not super excited about Call of Duty, but Titanfall, I think, is where I'm going to be for quite a long time this holiday, and I fully plan on flipping this one, prestiging this one as well. So another interesting little bit, and CJ, you and I talked a bit about this, on Facebook, but they are not charging for DLC, which is kind of amazing. So right now
they say that now. I'll just throw that out.
Right. And right now also there are no microtransaction bundles or anything available. Who knows how that might change down the road. But right now it's really kind of neat to know that if you're playing this and you don't intend to spend more, as they have new maps come out, you know that it's not going to split the audience, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think that's great. I wonder how they're going to make money to sustain doing DLC or further updates if they're not charging people. I mean, they said
games post-launch DLC would be free, no season pass purchase. So I'm not sure how they would sustain that without some sort of additional revenue model. They have talked about selling war paint, but I don't know how much free DLC that would sustain.
You're just reading my Facebook comments.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, so it seems like they might sell something. Maybe it's not going to be microtransactions in the traditional sense of like coins or whatnot. It sounds like it's probably going to be more in the form of cosmetic stuff, maybe.
Yeah,
But they can't just do free DLC. Like, I mean, that probably isn't going to wash with their publisher, I'm imagining.
yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. But again, I'll take them at their word right now because as it stands currently, that's how it's working. So,
Right.
yeah, and of course, I'm going to be hitting the Player One forums to see if anyone else is playing, and if you are, let me know because it would be a lot of fun to join with some Player One players on that game.
Cool.
So, yeah, the other big release that I picked up this week was World of Final Fantasy. And that one is to, I guess, Minecraft, what Pokemon is to World of Final Fantasy. And that, like the and I just totally mangled that.
Dragon Quest Builders is to
Yes.
Minecraft, what World of Final
Thank
Fantasy
you.
is to Pokemon.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I meant to say. Yeah, so it's really interesting though because just as the guys making Dragon Quest Builders decided to kind of streamline the Minecraft experience, this feels like streamlined Pokemon. It's highly derivative, but it's still charming and clever and fun, and you bump into a lot of the old Final Fantasy characters, and it makes a lot of those core mechanics just really seamless and kind of easier to deal with. You're never having to buy extra Pokeballs, at least not as I can see it. They call them something else, of course, but it's a cute game that is a lot of fun. And what's interesting is you can switch between being your kind of hyper cute Japanese characters like a chibi type thing to more grown up looking characters with a touch of a button. So it's playful with the art style.
Say more grown up looking, but really you look like a Kingdom Hearts character. I mean,
Yes.
they're going from complete baby looking chibi characters to teenagers.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Nothing deeply inspired there. It's pretty familiar. It's exactly what you'd expect, but the animation is great. It looks good on the PS Vita, and I'm sure it would look better still on the PS4. One thing that did surprise me though is talk about a rough start getting the game going. I picked up a physical copy, and it required a 600 megabyte update before it started, and then proceeded to start without any voice acting. And I had to go to NeoGAF to figure out what the heck was going on. As it turns out, that's another 500 megabyte download that they didn't prompt you for. So I had to go and search for it by name in the PlayStation Network store to find it, and then download that, and then finally restart the game so that it had voice acting.
But wait, you had the physical copy.
Yeah.
And you had to get an update, and then also you had to download a voice pack.
Yeah, apparently what happened is there's a limitation of 4 gigs on a Vita card, and this game went past that. So that was the problem.
Oh.
Yeah, so I've never experienced that before, but now that I'm up and running, it's fine. Yeah, and then the last thing I just want to mention is, as Stuart was saying, I was getting more into PSVR because I just picked that up. And I wanted to, as a public service announcement, say, if you are having problems with your machine having drift, which lots and lots of players are, I dug into that, and there is a solution. It's not awesome, but it definitely has worked for me, which
Buy a
is...
new television. No, wait.
No.
Buy a new PS4.
Nope. You don't have to buy anything new. You don't have to return the machine. But what worked for me was being less than 5 feet away from the camera itself, right? So I put myself at closer to 3 feet as opposed to around 9 feet. And then to be 2 feet to the left, to your left of the camera, not straight on to the camera. For whatever reason, that's a sweet spot. And even Sony put out some documentation that explained that you want to be to the left of the camera, which, again, seemed to make the camera a lot happier with me, and I haven't had drift issues since.
Oh, the camera's always been in love with you, Ethan.
Well, and Stuart, it sounds like you never had any problems at all. So,
I didn't, but what's funny is I've always stood a little bit left of that camera because the way I have my system set up, I still have a Kinect. So the Kinect and the PS camera are offset from center on my television, and the
Right.
PS camera just happens to be to the right of me. So maybe that's why I wasn't having any issues. I don't know.
Okay. Well, and I'll say, as somebody who now has the Vive and the PlayStation VR, if you're really into VR, it's actually quite worth having both, because one is really trying hard to optimize for the, room scale standing experience. The other one is trying to make seated experience great. And also, the production values of the games being made by big studios like Rocksteady and Rebellion on the PSVR make for better games in many cases. Even if you're more limited, Battlezone is incredibly polished and fun to play, as an example.
Yeah.
Same thing with Rush of Blood, where that final boss is,
No spoilers.
no, I won't. All I'll say is that minute for minute, that final boss is probably the most visually spectacular thing I've seen in a game. It's really amazing, and that's what you get from VR, and that's what you get from teams that really know what they're doing, like Supermassive. So, worth getting both, and you will not be disappointed if you pick up the PSVR. But that's been my week.
All right then. Greg, did you have anything else you wanted to add to what you've been playing?
No, I came in just as you were talking about Final Fantasy. And I only really played the demo, so seems nice. I don't know that I'm dying to play it. I definitely was more taken by Dragon Quest Builders.
I do like that you can choose like the classic version of the active time battle.
Yeah,
Yep.
There's some
That's a
nice
nice option.
there for sure. Yep.
Because I'm a old school RPGer.
DJ is the oldest of the old school.
True. Alrighty, how about we get into some tweets?
Okay.
Tweet it up.
Sound good?
Killer.
All right. Let's do this one from hacker alias Matt WBT. Why is Sony not marketing the PS4 Pro yet?
Because they don't want to take away from the PS4 Slim. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, they're not really marketing the PS4 Slim as much as they are marketing the PlayStation platform, right? I don't know that we will necessarily see a lot of marketing specifically for the PS4 Pro.
Yeah, I think what you're going to see is the machine will be available when it comes out, but it will sell out within the week that it's out. And when it restocks, you'll have your Best Buy and GameStop employees asking at the front counter, do you have a 4K machine or not? And if the answer is yes, then they'll try to sell them on the Pro.
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
You can still pre-order them on Amazon. You think they'll sell out?
Yeah. I think that it will not be a day one sellout. I think after the course of 1 week, it's likely that they'll be gone. I might be wrong. I don't know. I think the big problem they have, again, is that they have not effectively communicated value beyond being better for those who have 4K TVs.
Well, I think it's also hard to demonstrate the value of 4K games machine. Like, the graphics are already pretty good on the PS4, and you can kind of side by side them, and one looks better, but I mean, it's not really something where you can go, this looks better than the thing that you have. You should upgrade now, especially if you don't have a 4K TV, which a lot of people don't, and aren't even necessarily in the market for that.
To add to that, too, one thing that really surprised me, I did try playing Titanfall 2 in the PSVR headset, and it was a great experience. It was really satisfying, and the sound was unbelievable. But, I mean, this is despite the fact that it's in lower res. So,
Sure.
Yeah, it's like, I guess, for me, resolution is not really that big a deal.
Right. Yeah, it's not a big deal to me either. I wonder... I mean, I know on the internet there is a group of people that do care about that, but I'm wondering how large that market actually is and how many of those people are going to buy PS4 Pros.
Right.
Or even how many people that buy an Xbox One S are buying it because they have a 4K television versus people who are just interested in the system itself.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think that they'll phase out the vanilla versions of those systems in the next 6 months or so that all you can use
once they're out of stock?
I would say
because it's like
you can get
You
a
have
PS4 Pro down to the price of a PS4 Slim, then maybe, but otherwise, no.
Yeah, I was about to say they have the slim line. That's not going anywhere.
That's why I found it so weird that they sort of announced that so soon before announcing the Pro or releasing the Pro.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a Sega fan. What do I know about splitting markets?
Hacker alias Palm9898 says, do you think the 3DS will be the last non-hybrid portable console?
From Nintendo or just ever?
In general.
I maybe.
I hate to say there'll never ever be another. Just
right.
Yeah,
a long time.
I'm gonna actually go so far as to say no. I think that there would be a time gap if the Switch doesn't work out. I think what you're going to see probably is there will be a couple of years where there is no such dedicated device on the market. But as the cost of producing a device like that comes down, I still think that there are enough consumers that want that experience instead of a smartphone experience, because however you feel about it, they are so fundamentally different experientially that
Sure.
You're just saying then that audience is not big enough to even justify a low cost item on the market that can play games that are a couple of generations old. And I don't think that that's the case. I think there will be some. I just think that again there would be a window where the market on it would go frosty for a couple of years. What do you think, CJ?
I am going to say it's not going to be the last non-hybrid because forever is a long time. And in 10 years' time, who knows? But I think it does depend largely on how popular the Switch is, because the Switch is really the first that is trying to bring these two things together, this chocolate and peanut butter together. And who knows if it'll be a combination that people really take to or whether they don't.
I think if anything, what you might see is, do you remember the Sony Xperia phone?
Yes.
The one, not the newer ones, but the ones that actually had the slide out controller?
Sure, yeah, the PSP Go of phones, basically.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think that it would be impossible for some industrious company, whether it's Sony themselves or Google or even potentially Nintendo or Apple, creating, like, imagine if there was an iPhone 8G and the G was just you could slide out a physical control, and they had a prominent number of great premium games.
Isn't that a hybrid device though?
I guess, yeah. That would
You're right. Still potentially a hybrid device. Yeah, I mean, look at how that Xperia phone did, and Apple clearly is not interested whatsoever in making their own controllers or focusing on the games functionality necessarily of their devices.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's hope the Switch does well, and then let's talk after that. I could see them doing multiple versions of the Switch.
Nope.
No.
Stop it. Shut your filthy mouth.
Could do like a Switch Junior. That
it's a little Switch.
Phone size with even smaller Joy-Con.
For like Phil's hands?
For Phil's hands, exactly.
Nice. It wasn't me this time.
Yes. All right. Hacker alias Knee First One says, now that the PSVR has launched, how do you think Sony will market the Pro? Will they market the Pro? I don't think PSVR necessarily had an effect on what they're going to do with the Pro. I still think they're basically going to be promoting it as the PlayStation platform, and when a customer gets to retail and says, okay, which one do I want, that's the point where they'll be like, okay, you decide whether you want the Slim or you want the Pro.
I think that linking the PSVR to the Pro specifically would be a bad move, because it would just create a bunch of confusion. You'd have another like Wii U situation where it's like, oh, so this is I need a Wii to buy this? This is a Wii accessory?
I think they explicitly avoided that when they announced the Pro because they were asked would it improve it, and they said some games will be improved, but that could have been something that they really emphasized in the event, and it was almost conspicuous by its absence. But I don't think they want to confuse customers.
No,
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, hacker alias J.A. Melee.
It's pronounced jambalaya.
He asks, or he or she asks, what games would you like to see on the Nintendo Switch?
All of them.
All the Nintendo games.
Every game.
Just
Halo.
give them to me. I was thinking about this because
Creed, Call of Duty.
Because on Nintendo Voice Chat this week, which we were talking about just a little bit ago, they mentioned the kinds of games that are going to be on the Switch, and they kind of said they almost hinted that you're not going to see Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed or the Battlefield, like the big console AAA games on the Switch. And I thought about that. It's like, well, why not? Like, why wouldn't you see those? And I guess it's in part because it's an NVIDIA Tegra. It's a mobile processor. And even if you did, it's probably not going to look as good as it does on the PS4 or Xbox One, right?
I feel like I was talking about this last week.
Yeah.
I mean, but I bet you that Candy Crush and Clash of Clans are going to look awesome on that. No, they're going to look awesome on it. And congratulations to Nintendo for bringing those two worlds together.
God. No,
Clash of Clans.
Mark my words.
Clash of Clans Mario Edition.
Mm-hmm. No,
baby. The
garbage games
could happen.
Not allowed.
They did do that whole Mario Puzzle and Dragons game. So
That's
anything,
Stop.
The second
possible.
one of those games is available, we are so gifting Ethan a copy. 3 copies.
No.
3
and
copies.
all the microtransactions.
Yep.
Oh.
Along with a physical printout of Nintendo in the 3-minute. What is it? With a 3-minute video, Nintendo has saved mobile gaming. That's gonna be right on the. We're gonna get that. Yeah, we're gonna
Here you
get
go,
that
Ethan.
seasoned on a T-shirt.
Nintendo saved
No.
mobile gaming. Here's Clash of Clans Mario.
It is that aside. God, what a terrible future that would be.
Welcome.
Welcome. It is an interesting question, though, because it would be more viable to think that you'd get some of those games at the time in which they were also supporting Xbox 360 and PS3.
Right.
But now, if you're doing all the bells and whistles on Battlefield 1, it is hard to imagine that would run on a Tegra processor. And would they bother? But the problem is if they don't, then we're talking again about hardware or software that is specifically made for that device.
The Wii U too.
Yeah, it could be.
Here's what I hope, though. So you're going to have a lot of great Nintendo software. If people care about Nintendo software, if those people still exist, maybe they'll buy a Nintendo Switch. And I do think you will have a lot of indie software coming over, right? Because a lot of those are using the Unreal Engine, using Unity, things that, middleware that does work on mobile processors in general.
Oh, so you didn't mean Wii U 2, you meant Vita 2.
Okay.
Wait, that's better.
Yeah. No, but even though Vita quote unquote failed, it still had a lot of great games, and I think Nintendo Switch is in that same sort of wheelhouse where even if it doesn't get Destiny 2 or Call of Duty, whatever, it still could be a great console.
I just want to say I loved the Saturn.
Yeah. And I'm saying also I hope that it gets some multi-platform games, because I like the idea of taking my games with me. And maybe if the Nintendo Switch is also an Android tablet, maybe we can get PlayStation Remote Play on it, and that would be fantastic. but I mean, it's of concern that maybe it wouldn't get AAA games, but I'm still excited about all the Nintendo games that I'm going to be playing on this thing.
Yeah, and honestly, if, for instance, Titanfall 2, if that didn't have all the bells and whistles of the PS4 version, but I could still seamlessly take it with me portably and it had the same frame rate and the same features, I would still buy the Switch one. I mean, I would. But I think I'm probably the minority.
Yeah. I think that's a minority audience that would agree with you. All right, let's wrap it up with this one. Hacker Alias Gunstar Gamer says, what is your favorite horror movie to watch for the month of October?
Gremlins.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's
a good Christmas movie, too.
Really? Yeah.
Die Hard is secretly the best Halloween movie.
Right. No, I'm going to go with the easy answer, and that is Halloween, which in fact is coming to theaters this week, and I may see if it's possible to catch that.
You can take your kids.
Bring the kids.
Yeah. Maybe not that. Yeah.
Next year.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I like this year movie. I don't know if you can see
Shopping
it.
Mall.
Shopping Mall.
Shopping Mall. Just released on Blu-ray recently, and I love this movie. It is completely terrible, but it is highly funny and extremely watchable.
For those who love horror, by the way, I will say I've been very surprised by the quality of the Exorcist TV show, and just how gross they're able to get on broadcast television. But the first episode was directed by the guy who directed Rise of the Planet of the Apes. They have Gina Davis and stuff. It's pretty good. So check it out.
Wow, because
Gina
Davis has been pretty busy lately too. So
Come on. I mean, she's a good actress, though.
Oh, I'm not arguing that. It's just I haven't seen her in anything in a long time.
Cutthroat Island.
Cutthroat Island, the TV series. When's
Cutthroat Island. Yeah, that's what
Here you
killed
go.
her career.
Beetlejuice.
Right.
Beetlejuice. There's a fine Halloween movie.
That is, yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed. Nightmare Before Christmas. Also great.
Oh, that's a great one.
Times.
Yeah.
What's that?
Nightmare Before Christmas.
No, what did Greg say?
Good times.
Oh, yes.
The TV series? That's
It's a
not
great
Halloween.
TV show, but it's not very Halloweeny. Yeah.
It's not Halloween.
It depends.
All right. That's it? We're
Yeah.
done?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay. Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you would like to comment on something you heard, or perhaps you have a question for us, you can direct that to @P1Podcast on the Twitter, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Seward.
Got to start working on one of those soon.
Yes, indeed. You'll find Generation 16 episodes when they're new.
Yep. Working away on episode 19.
Nicely done. And you'll find a message board where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by going to the iTunes Music Store. While you're at the iTunes Music Store, you can also invest $1.99.
Cheap.
Pick up the Player One Podcast iPhone application. It gives you one-touch communication with us via the emails, the Twitters, what have you. I have all of our episodes ready to stream on your listening device. And hey, Android cell phone, telephone users, the Player One Podcast iPhone application is available for your listening device as well for that same $1.99.
Also cheap.
You can find that right over there at the Amazon Android Marketplace. Look for it while you're over on Amazon, pre-ordering all the games you're looking forward to in the upcoming months.
Pre-orders for life.
We're also on Stitcher Radio. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch archives of our show and watch us perform a live most weeks at the youtubes.com/P1 podcast. And if you've liked what you heard, and how could you can head over to patreon.com/P1 podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. It keeps CJ in the thick of things when it comes to buying rock band add-ons that have nothing to do with new songs.
Yeah.
I
love it.
And if you have a couple bucks left over afterwards, head over to generation-16.com where you'll find a link to the Patreon page for Greg Seward's fantastic series about America's favorite runner-up, the Sega Genesis.
Go and learn something.
The
Learn something
fantastic
about
series.
a company other than Nintendo.
Yeah.
The fantastic series.
Runner-up except for 1994 when it ruled the market. Go ahead.
Okay.
Boom. Boom.
You don't have to plug them anymore, man. Just saying.
Hey, man, I still bleed blue. Come on.
Ew.
Ooh. Should get that checked.
Yeah. CJ.
Yeah.
Thank ya.
No problem, Phil.
Thank you. Greg.
Yo.
Thank you.
My pleasure. And please remember to go give to Extra Life. extra-life.org/participant. Choked up /Seward.
I'm glad you got the memo today about the yellow shirts.
Yeah, I'm glad that we could come together on this.
Yeah. What's your yellow shirt?
That's Disney.
Oh, really? Let's see. Oh, Walt Disney
World.
Oh, very nice.
Ah.
Very, very
I
nice.
thought the shirt was being taken off, and I was like, wait a second.
I'm sporting.
Oh no, we don't have enough patrons for that.
No, I'm sporting the Venture Brothers today.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Someone wants to donate $1,000 to my Extra Life campaign. I will do the next episode of Generation 16 shirtless.
No, you won't.
Oh, I will.
Well, Generation
If
16.
someone wants to prevent Greg Seward from
Player
doing
One
it in the
podcast.
next episode.
Oh.
Next episode of Player One podcast. Sorry.
If you want to prevent Seward from doing it topless, you
Yeah.
can donate
For
2,000.
1,000, I'll do it topless. For 2,000, I won't do it topless.
Yeah. So, yikes.
Yilza.
Okay.
I hear wallets
And-
opening all over the country.
Yeah.
We can come together for this, folks. This
And
is important. This is important.
For the
Ethan,
kids.
Yes.
thank you.
Oh, thank
for
you,
joining
Phil.
us. For joining us.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, I bet you are, you weirdo.
hmm
Okay. Next week.
Sounds
Next
good.
week.
Let's do it.
Counting
Bye.
back down to episode 0. Is this how we're doing it now?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay. We got up 10 years. Now we got to count back down to day 1.
I like it. Mm.
Yeah. Toodles.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Toodle-oo.